which is going to be talking about some teams that need to prove themselves before the All-Star break, and just we're talking about that and what that mainly means. But before we do that, I'd like to go over some news I just saw on social media, just scrolling here over this break. It's apparently come up that Rafael Devers is going to be skipping the All-Star game due to some shoulder soreness, according to Alec Cora. So obviously we'll be needing to find a replacement for him, so I just wanted to mention that. I'm assuming it will be Jordan Westerberg of the Baltimore Orioles, who was a little bit of a snub last time for the All-Star, so I'm sure he'll get his chance. So another Oriole to the game, but yeah, obviously just want to talk about Rafael Devers. I saw he was just, and it was announced that he would skip the All-Star game, so did want to talk about that. But yeah, going over our final segment here, I did want to talk about 5 teams that I think have the most to prove before the All-Star break. Obviously, there are 6 games before the break. I'm not sure when I'll post this, but at the time I'm recording, 4:30 in the afternoon, there are 6 games before the All-Star break. There might be 5 when I end up putting this on YouTube, but yeah, I think these 5 teams really have the most to prove before the All-Star break, because I really think the All-Star break is when teams really start honing in a trade deadline strategy, not finalizing it, but really getting a full idea of what they're going to do. And I think these teams need to prove to their front office that they are either going to buy or sell. So yeah, the first team I wanted to talk about was the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays have been up and down all year, have dealt with injuries for a good amount of time now. I mean, they had injuries really going into the preseason as well that have really dug into this team. So I think with this Rays team, they definitely have a lot to prove, because, again, I think they're just very mediocre. They've had a lot of players really underperform. I think Aaron Savali was a big piece of that, and he just got shipped off after coming over in a blockbuster trade last deadline. So that obviously showed the Rays are not afraid to get rid of players they were wrong about. And, you look at a player like Rainier Rosarena, who has really been underwhelming this year, and just kind of this, how that relates to this team. I think they really have not done as great, and I think they really do have to prove themselves to their front office, to Eric Neander, that they should buy, that they are willing, that they are a competitive team, and they are going to add reinforcement at the deadline rather than trade away some of their guys like maybe a Zach Littell or a Zach Eflin. Now I think they could do a mixture of both, but I think they really have to do well against these next 2 series to end up proving that, okay, we are a contender and you should go in on us. They're playing the Yankees and the Guardians, who are both obviously extremely good teams. Yankees are on a rough streak, obviously, so you'll be able to take advantage of that. Guardians are a fantastic team, so nothing really to say about them. So if they can win 3 out of 6 or 4 out of 6, I really think that would be a positive sign here for this front office, being able to see that your team won 3 or 4 out of 6, not lose more games than you've won against 2 very good AL teams, maybe even two out of the top 4 best AL teams, I'd say. Being able to win that, I think, will be a really great job for them, and I think that's really what they need to do. So I'll be watching them. The Astros are another team I put them here. Obviously have dealt with a ton of things. I mean, injuries, underperformance. They had to release Jose Abreu 2 years into his year and a half into his huge 3-year contract to be their superstar first baseman. So that's been bad. They had their entire rotation plus more on the injured list. So they've obviously dealt with a lot of adversity this year, but at the same time, they've done really well over these past few weeks. They've been a really good team, and they're playing the Marlins and the Rangers upcoming. These next 6 games, both teams are bad, and I think I think they can really win 5 out of 6, and I think if they do, that'll make this Astros front office want to go in fully on this team. Now, I think they were always going to buy, because Jim Crane really does not want to ever have a selling team. But if they win a lot of these games, I think you could maybe look to go fully all in on maybe a guy like Jack Flaherty or a Garrett Crochet, even if you want to go fully. So it will be interesting to see what they do end up doing and who they end up trading for at this deadline, whether it's going to be a full all-in guy, a less all-in guy, someone like a Tyler Anderson maybe, who's adding, but not as much sacrificing your future if you were going to add a Jack Flaherty or a Garrett Crochet. So will be interesting to see what this Astros team does, and yeah, definitely interesting to see what their deadline motive is going to be after facing this Marlins and Rangers team, and just what the future is going to look like for them. After that, we have the Mets. They are playing the Nationals and the Rockies. They've been up and down. Had that amazing stretch in June. Have not won a series in a while now. Just split with the Nationals, split with the Pirates. So obviously 2 bad teams, but they faced really good pitching over that time. Faced some really good young pitchers, which both these 2 teams have. So yeah, overall, I think that this Mets team is still good. They're playing the Nationals and Rockies upcoming, two bad teams. And I think they need to win 5 out of 6 to really prove themselves and prove to be a formidable contender with all these teams in the National League, especially in the wild card that are bunched together. I think the Mets really have to show that they are above everyone and that they are, that show to David Stearns in that front office who is trying to build a winner there that, go all in on us, go add pieces, go get some bullpen arms, if you can beat these two bad teams. So, yeah, if I'm a Mets fan, that's what I'm hoping for, which I am. I'm hoping that we add. I think we should. And I really think that we have a lot to prove for these next 6 games against the Nationals, Rockies, all at home as well. I really think we need to win 5 out of 6. I really don't think there's an excuse not to. The Giants are a very mediocre team. They don't have great hitting. Their pitching is pretty good, but a lot of it's hurt, and it's going to come back after the deadline. You're getting guys like Alex Cobb, Blake Snell, Robbie Ray back, which is a good amount of talent, but will you be able to sustain that talent till the trade deadline? What I mean is, will you be able to keep your team afloat until those guys come back? And I'm just not sure you'll be able to. And they're playing the Twins and Blue Jays coming up. The Twins are a good team. The Blue Jays aren't. I think you really need to win 4 out of 6 against these teams to be able to show yourself that you should buy and that this team is competitive. And I think really overall, this is a team that should end up becoming really good. And being able to add at this deadline and just overall becoming a team that really should be able to add and not subtract. I think this offense is very mediocre, but maybe adding a piece or two would make it better. And getting this rotation back, getting guys in this rotation back, adding already what you have to Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, Logan Webb would be a really good thing and will be a very interesting team to watch at this deadline. Finally, the Pirates, they just split a series with the Mets in PNC. That was really nice with them. So they're playing the Brewers and White Sox coming up. Brewers are very good. White Sox are awful. I think if they win 3 or 4 out of 6, they could potentially look to add. I mean, again, I've talked about them a lot, but this is not a team I want to face in the playoffs, this Pirates team. They have an amazing top 3 of Keller, Jones, and Skeens that nobody wants to play. If you add some young bats in this lineup, one guy I talked about yesterday is Jazz Chisholm, who I think could make a lot of sense. If you add in a young bat to this lineup, 1 or 2, I think this Pirates team could really be scary. If they find a way to sneak into the playoffs, I don't want to face them. I don't think anyone does because of that top 3. So it'll be interesting to see what they do end up doing versus these 2 teams. And, yeah, just what is going to happen with them. So, yeah. Overall, just watching that, and I'm watching these 6 teams, the Rays, Astros, Mets, Giants, Pirates, obviously 5, not 6, sorry, and just what they are going to be able to do at this trade deadline and what is going to happen with them. So, yeah, that is it for our show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe to the notification bell so you get notified when I upload, when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. I'm your host, Sam Mendy. I hope you had a great time watching the show today. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it. We'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. And thank you guys so much. And bye. See you tomorrow.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow. Feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit. And the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.